Quick news item I want to point out, and this is why the box office is hurting. It is a contributing factor. David Poland, who has he has it's called the Hot Button. It's a Substack which I read. He is David. I would say he and I are probably not fully aligned politically speaking, but the one thing I respect about David is he looks at the facts. He judges situations based on facts. And he says, is the 19-day VOD window poisoning the entire well? The Fall Guy came out and bombed, and it's in theaters and on VOD. So I'm going to put a link to this in the this episode. But wow, if you read this, it's really goes through. If you want to read some of it right here, Alan, if you could start with that.
Yeah, you got to enlarge it though.
First couple paragraphs, sure.
Yeah,
got it.
There we go. Okay, after writing about the Fall Guys box office yesterday, I'm been triggered again. Okay, by Universal announcing that the Fall Guy will be released on VOD tomorrow, 19 whole days after the theatrical release. The event of this should not be a surprise to me or anyone else. During COVID, Universal decided that they would send movies that opened under $50 million domestic to VOD in 19 days, Tuesday after the third weekend of release. And the movie opened over 50 million would get a 33 days.
So you hear that.
This
is
yeah.
No, stop for a second.
Go ahead.
This is an accountant saying if it's under 50 million opening, 19-day release. If it's over 50 million, 33 days.
Yeah.
So there you go. Right.
I've always been of two minds on this strategy. First, I hate the idea that it infringes on the theatrical window in a way that cannot help but limit the box office. Second, I like the idea that at least Universal set up some rules for itself and offers some consistency. As I believe that inconsistency in the theatrical market, confusing the potential ticket buyers is a major problem. Of course, it is shocking that the summer opened with such a mediocre number, and a summer opening will be on VOD before the end of May. But at this point, 3 years into this policy, it has a history that can be analyzed. Universal has wide release 48 films since COVID, starting with Freaky on November 13, 2020. 4 films were released day and day with Peacock. 22 of 44 windowed films pushed to VOD 19 or 21 days, and now including 3 of the 4 releases of the studio in the last year.
It's disheartening. It's disheartening.
Yeah, I mean, like you and I both liked Fall Guy. I think I don't know anyone who really had a serious problem with Fall Guy. It's a matter of taste at this point, but I don't think anyone's ostensibly saying it was a bad movie, and yet it didn't do well. And I mean, I'll say this: I think this short window, affects second viewings. You see him, you go out to the theater, you see a movie, you spend all that money, and then you know that it's going to come out on video again, so you're less likely to go back and see that movie in the theater. From Bill S. Preston Esquire, I was on Amazon last night and tried to sell me VOD of Fall Guy.
You know what? I bought it. There's an extended cut that is 20 minutes longer, and I'm gonna check it out. So, and I really enjoyed the film. Very entertaining. Oh, this is good right here.
Yeah. Okay. From Solomon Thornton. Hey, this is one of the reasons why Nolan left Warner Brothers, because of this situation. Yeah, he got screwed. I mean, the pandemic screwed him for one thing.
It was about Tenet.
Yeah, but
right here.
I mean, that was literally the first movie to come out of COVID. What were they supposed to do? All right, Brock Samsonite. This is what I've been saying. Shortening the exclusive window for theaters is the reason Hollywood is failing after Wall Street apes bailed them out by buying up the stock during COVID.
Bingo. Bingo. 2 words, bingo. So, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Moving on. We're going to get to Furiosa momentarily.
Well,
but,
let me ask you, going on that subject, sorry,
please.
but what was it about Oppenheimer then that gave it such legs? Because that's not a movie you would that is traditionally considered broad appeal, and yet it had its leg. And then also Five Nights at Freddy's, who had the day-and-day release, yet overwhelmingly succeeded both in theaters and on VOD.
2 very different things. I think Five Nights at Freddy's was a phenomenon with kids. They wanted to see it in a theater and share the experience.
Yeah.
With Oppenheimer, with Oppenheimer, I think people were starved for a film for adults, like a smart film that spurs discussion. And Barbie, it was caught up. The Barbenheimer thing was a not to be repeated event.
Yeah, an event. I mean, I would say both were events. And I think that's what we've lost this year, is that we don't have an event film. I don't think Furiosa is an event film.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I can't think of an event film so far this year or coming up. Maybe Dune. Maybe Dune was the event film.
Yeah, it was, but that's done. It's on VOD. I got the 4K. So there you go. Yeah, I just think that overall this year, you're going to see box office is going to be way down. And it's very, very sad to see.